What is up, guys? Welcome back to another All Things IBL video. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. I know it's been a while, but we're going to go back to it with this, which might be a new series started on this channel, where we're going to be breaking down IBL matchups, like 1 versus 1, and sort of comparing their attributes to find out who's better overall. And obviously, I am no expert. And this is my opinion. So if you're featured in this, if you're one of these 6 players featured in this video, please don't be upset. Like if you didn't win a certain attribute or win, it's really just my opinion, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just doing this for fun. Okay, so to start the video, our first matchup is Koi versus Mass. And these are the last two MVPs. So I thought it would be, and they kind of win MVP in a different way. So I thought it would be a nice matchup to start off with. So melee, obviously Koi is very known for his melee. Mass, not as much, but is getting sort of, so we will go Koi, and I will say not very close. And then ranged, there's an obvious answer, but it is a little bit of a toss-up because Koi has been learning ranged and putting it into effect in IBL, but we're still going to go Mass, and also not very close. So this is where it really starts to get tough for me. Game sense / fills. So this is pretty much measuring like, I mean, it's kind of also on the line of positioning, so we could also say that. And for me, I feel like Mass is better positioned, but I feel like Koi has like developed an instinct to fill. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but in the matchup versus Impact Nocturnal, Koi did a full turtle on Classic, pretty much blocking off all of mid and blocking himself in mid to get the fill pretty easily. So that is an attribute going for Koi, but I'll give the edge to Mass, and I will say I cannot type. There we go. Support. I think this is another toss-up, but Koi usually pushes the pace with like flanks, which we'll get to later, or just literally just going to start a 1v1. So, and Mass is more known for playing laid back, bowing, crossbowing, orbing, things like that. So for support, I will go Mass. Okay, flanks, as I discussed earlier, I'm going to go with Koi. And it's just because, I mean, more PvP players are more likely to want to flank, as it is more successful if you can actually execute the kill. So I will go Koi, and it is not that close. Clutch, these are probably two of, maybe I can think of one more person who's as clutch as these two, but Mass just has more on his resume of clutches. He had the 1v3 last season on Slay against, I believe, Hang 10, and he's had I think 3 1v2s or 2 this season, both on Villa, surprisingly, which is, I will say Mass, and I will say very close. So if we look at it together, we have 1 1 1 2 2 1 3 1. So the score ends up being 4-2 Mass, and I think it's really, I mean, nothing to Koi's discredit. He's an amazing player, top 2 in the league, 100%. I just feel like Mass has more of a like kind of well-rounded game when it comes to IBL. All right, next matchup, Brunted versus Duzum. 2 insanely cracked PvPers that have stayed on the same team entire IBL career. So melee, this one is so hard, but I think I'm gonna go with Duzum. Only because of his plays hoplite a lot. He's very good in that. Brunted is more known for other aspects of his game, but Duzum is known for his pure melee. I will say, okay, ranged. Either of these players. Oh, why did autocorrect to that? Neither of these players really excel in ranged, but I feel like Brunted is just more consistent in ranged fights. And also just takes more ranged fights. Duzum really only settles for PV, close 1v1s. So I will say not that close. Okay. Game sense. This is another one where I'm going to go Brunted. I feel like Brunted's positioning is really good. He doesn't always he doesn't flank very much. When he does, he knows exactly when he's flanking and what he's gonna accomplish, and usually accomplishes it. So I'll go Brunted, and I will say okay. Support. I think I'm also gonna go with Brunted. Sort of how I was getting at in my point about ranged. I feel like Brunted is just more of that kind of player. Kind of like Koi. Duzum likes to push the pace and really initiate fights. Versus Brunted is fine with playing more laid back. I'll say Brunted, and I'll say not. And Brunted also, I forgot about this, but Brunted also plays healer sometimes, and he's very good at healer. He's a very good AoE healer. Flanks, this is really not that close. It's just Duzum. Duzum is so, when Haunted was in the rotation, and I remember I played Hang 10, and we were always watching out for Duzum flank, and we never saw it. He's so good with just getting behind enemy lines and just initiating the fight, getting a pick and getting out of there. Clutch, also gonna go Duzum. Duzum, I honestly, for Clutch, I'm mostly going off of resumes, and from what I know, Duzum has just had more clutches than Brunted. So I'll go Duzum, and I'll say not that close. So this one is a 3-2-3. 1-2-3 versus 1-2-3. Okay, and I haven't really discovered a tiebreaker for this, so we will just say Brunted and Duzum, they are both insanely good players, play with their own strengths, their own upper hands on the opponent, so I think they are very similar in skills with those certain skills. This is an interesting matchup. I believe this was actually requested in IBL General. Alex versus Rotom. The only reason I feel like people requested this is because Rotom was on Street Sharks, now Nova, and got traded, or didn't get traded. He got picked up in the market to Rat Tactics, versus Alex, who was on Rat Tactics and got picked up in the market by Nova, who used to be Street Sharks. So I think it's very interesting. These two, I think it's a better move for both players. I feel like Alex is really thriving at Nova, and Rotom is really thriving at Rat Tactics. So let's get into it. Melee, I'm gonna go with Alex. Alex is an insanely good Stray PvPer. He plays Stray a lot. He's dueled me a couple times. I've lost most of them. He's insanely good. I'm not too familiar with if Rotom is cracked at PvP. I might be missing that. But I know Alex usually wins 1v1s in IBL. Ranged, I'm gonna go Rotom. I think Rotom has had to sort of adapt to playing alongside Landon, because Landon is a dead-on flanker. He's literally just gonna go in every time, and usually works. So Rotom has to sort of changed his playstyle to like help Landon, and I think he's really developed a very good ranged game. Oh, why does it say not class? Not close. And I mean Alex plays ranged, but he's not like known for his range, so I'm just gonna give it to Rotom, and I will say decently close. Game sense fills. Both players are extremely good with game sense and filling. So for that, I'm going to say it's actually a very hard toss-up. I'm gonna say Rotom because a lot of Rat Tactics' plants are to fill, and Rotom is usually like a very good distraction, and I've seen Rotom have like very, very good game sense at times during games, like very good positioning, so I will say decently close again. Support, I don't know. Rotom doesn't really play heals. They have Karnak for that, and Alex does, and Alex is one of the best healers ever, so I will give it to Alex, and it is not close, pretty much. And he's also just a very good support player, stays in the back lines, gets a lot of value for his util. Flanks, I'm going to go with I don't know. This is like Rotom plays more ranged. I'm still gonna give it to Rotom. Only because he does flank very well. Like neither of these players are really like insanely well-known flankers like Duzum or Koi. But the flanks, I've seen more flanks out of Rotom than I have out of Alex. And clutch. For this one, I'm going to go with Rotom. Not necessarily because of anything in IBL, but I saw a clip of him 1v3ing, which was insane, and he is very good in the clutch. So I'll give it to Rotom, and I will say decently close. This ended up being a 4-2. This one I honestly think was the closest of them all, even though it didn't end out. So that is going to be the video. Comment below ideas as usual. I'm going to try and get back into the swing of things. Maybe a weekly upload, but I don't want to make a promise I can't uphold. So thank you for watching, and peace.